Hello, everyone. Welcome to GA's Tea Time. We discuss all things General Hospital. If you haven't already, please hit the bell notification. The like and subscribe really helps the channel. And I want to send a special thank you for everybody that has already subscribed. So, guys, let's get our teacups, let's get our snacks, and let's get ready to discuss our favorite characters. General Hospital Daily Recap, Monday, March 3rd, 2026. Guys, there's a bunch of folks in this episode. It's Michael, Tracy, Jacinda, Christina, Kai. So let's see what our favorite bunch of characters are up to. This made me laugh. It's not right. I shouldn't be laughing, but Willow is all around wrong. So Willow is taking pictures because she's the new congresswoman, right? She got Drew all propped up, nice suit, everything, sitting there taking pictures with Drew. And then Laura came in. I was like, now you know she ain't right. She should have just left Drew at home. But anyway, she's over there and she's taking pictures and smiling and stuff like that. Laura's just looking at her, and then she's gonna run over to Laura and go, Laura, great, I'm glad you're here. Can you take pictures with us? So they got Laura next to propped up Drew and Willow smiling, and then she's all excited. I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? So anyway, Laura kind of said to Willow in a roundabout way, what kind of candidate are you gonna be? Are you gonna be like your husband who was just using his power, or are you gonna be one that's for the people? Willow's eyes were almost like slits. You could see her mind just going. Like she's just like, I say whatever, but I'm gonna be for self. So she's gonna be doing this all for herself. So, but she said, no, I'm doing this for the people, and Laura was all happy to hear that she's gonna be doing this for the people, right? Next thing you know, Ezra comes in. So Ezra comes in because he wants to tell Willow what Sitwell wants her to do. So Laura kind of grabs him and says, listen, I got to talk to you first. So she takes him out into the hallway to have a conversation with him. Laura's telling Ezra, look, do you let Willow get into this position before you start telling her what Sitwell wants her to do. But see, Laura don't know that Willow's already in bed with Sitwell. So she already know her orders are coming. But anyway, Ezra is trying to tell Laura, look, don't make no waves. This man is dangerous, right? You need to just do what you need to do and let us all get through this. But Laura doesn't want to believe Ezra. She just thinks that Ezra is just some, nasty person, which we all been seeing Ezra just be nasty for no reason. But we also understand that he is under Sidwell's control. So he's basically like, look, I'm going to do what I got to do to survive this. Laura is still sticking to her morals. So she's like, she don't want to sell her soul, but she already kind of sold her soul. So I don't know. Laura just going to have to just buy with this for a little bit longer. But anyway, Ezra was trying to give her the heads up. He went in there to go talk to Willow, kind of was giving Willow I'm getting ready to tell you that Sidwell is coming in. But Laura cut him off and kind of was like, well, let's just let her make her decision. We'll come back and she can talk later. Willow and Kai were talking. So Kai was like, oh, I understand you're probably going to want to pick your own team, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to, I'll help with the transition when you pick whoever you're going to pick. So Willow was like, oh, no, I'm going to keep you on because, you helped Drew so much. And I need you to stay. So Kai, listen, first of all, I was like, Kai's crazy because I wouldn't stay there with Willow. But okay, you're going to stay. You need to ask them for a job. That intern stuff is crazy. At this point, you should be working. I don't know if he's a paid intern or not. But if he's not paid, he need to ask for a paycheck if he's going to stay there in that nonsense. But anyway, Kai said yes because he's insane. But so Kai's going to still be on there helping Willow out with Drew and the campaign and all that kind of stuff, or her stuff, I should say. At the end of everything, Willow talking to Drew, and she's just as batty. I think Willow snapped somewhere along the line. That's probably that first time she passed out, her brain just clicked off. But she's talking to Drew, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, this is so great!" And she was like, "I can see now, this power I'm gonna have. She's gonna be using that." So Drew's just looking at her. I'm just like, "Good luck, Drew," because she's getting ready to cause a mess. So, guys, what did you think of this episode? Listen, I know I should be laughing about Drew having to sit there like that, but he's been so loud and vocal for so long. I'm like, it's good he got to be quiet for 2 minutes. Curtis and Portia called Trina down to the house and said, we have something to discuss with you. Trina came in, saw her parents together. She was kind of happy until they told her they were selling the house. And then Trina started slowly progressing back into 3-year-old mode, where she was just like, "Oh, I didn't think y'all were gonna do this and stuff." But she brought herself around. She understood that, with them getting a divorce, the house is gonna go. So Portia and Curtis was telling her, just because we selling the house, it doesn't mean we still not gonna be a family. Portia and Trina were talking, and Portia kind of made a good point. She was like, "I know we won't have the actual structure anymore. We won't have the house, but we have our memories, and those will never go anywhere." So Trina was, at first she was getting really sad, but after talking to Portia, she started feeling better, and she said, she understood. She said, "Thank you for making me feel better." So I'm glad these two are getting back on the mend with their relationship, because I was getting tired of that other stuff. Portia and Curtis was going to sign the contract with Lucy to put the house on the market. So Lucy had this little pad, and she was like, "Okay, I need your John Hancock's." And she gave it to Portia. Portia signed. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's going to start. She gives the little iPad thingy to Curtis. Curtis is thinking about it. He was thinking about the conversation he overheard between Trina and Portia about, the house and how many memories and blah, blah, blah. He was like, he don't want to sign. I'm telling you right now, this storyline with this baby and Jordan and Portia is gonna make it real messy, and it's gonna be Curtis that's gonna do it. As Portia starts getting more, further along, and the baby starts kicking and this and that. What's the name? Jordan, she need to run for the hills, because I'm telling you, Curtis is gonna make this about Curtis. It's gonna get stupid. And then it's time for them to move along. I'm sure Curtis is gonna sign them papers, but he's just gonna make this messy, and I'm sure he's gonna do the same thing he did with Portia and have Portia kind of on the hook a little bit, like maybe there's a possibility they could fix their relationship or something like that, just like how he did with Jordan, a little bit on the hook. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. I think both of these women need to leave him alone. Portia need to stay with Isaiah. Jordan need to go find somebody else. This is gonna get messy. He's gonna use anyway. That's my opinion. I'm gonna leave him with that. Let me know what you think down in the comment section, guys. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But I think that I think that Curtis is gonna make this whole baby situation really difficult. Kai came over and was talking to Trina, and he told Trina that Willow offered him a position as her assistant, kind of doing the same thing that he was doing for Drew. Trina was like, "You didn't quit." Like, he needs to quit. Willow is not stable. I don't know why. He says he thinks that he owes Drew, because, he should watch over him, because he knows that Willow did it and that he needs somebody to watch over him. It shouldn't be you. Kai need to go tell Justine, Dante, or Nathan, or one of those three, what he saw, and leave out of that house. He's gonna get himself hurt. Trina is 100% right. She told Kai he need to leave there. I don't know why he's insisting on staying. He don't owe Drew nothing. Dante, Justine, and Nathan invited Kai down to the PCPD. They wanted to ask him questions about a key. So they asked him, who had access to Drew's keys, and Kai gave him a rundown who would have access: Willow, Scout, blah, blah, blah. And they said, "What about Michael?" He said, "No, Michael didn't have no key, not that he knew of." And, so they kind of asked him a series of questions about this key. And after the end of his conversation, Justine was kind of like, "Look, this is a cold case now. We don't know who did this." She thinks Chase put the key on his ring, and Dante's still taking up for Chase. She's convinced that Willow did it, and we all know Willow did do it, but they was like, "But they don't have no proof," right? Basically, that's really it. So the case against Michael has to be dropped. Tracy was talking to Brook Lynn, and Tracy was on point. She said, "Do you think that she was like, first she started off with this altercation between Chase and Michael in his house. She has to take up for Michael, because Michael is Monica and Alan and all of them grandson." And they was like, he's not going nowhere. As long as Michael wants to stay in his house, he can stay in his house. So Brooklyn looked a little panicked at first because she was like, oh, like kind of like if you asking me to leave. And it seemed like Tracy kind of was like, no, you could stay, but you need to get rid of that husband of yours. But she didn't say it outright like that, but that's what she seemed like she was insinuating. But anyway, Tracy then went on to, do you believe that Chase didn't put the key on that ring? So Brook Lynn is adamant. She was like, I don't think that Chase did that. He didn't put the key on the ring. He told me he didn't. I believe my husband. So Tracy kind of was just letting Brook Lynn know, like, this can't go on like this, right? He needs to stop this because eventually she is going to have to make a choice, and it's not Chase. So Brook Lynn thinks that Chase is telling her the truth, that they're going to focus on their adoption, and that all the other stuff is going to stop. That's what she told Tracy. Ned was talking to Chase, and Ned put it all out there. He did not bite his tongue. He said, listen, you acting like you more concerned with your ex-wife, Willow, than your current wife, my daughter, Brook Lynn. Okay, you need to put this whatever this is to sleep because your focus is not right. And Chase was like, no, Brook Lynn understands. She knows that I'm not just focused on Willow, that I'm just trying to get justice. And he's out of his mind. Chase is crazy. I'm like, your wife, any woman is, you think she's understanding. She loves him. She's trying to stick in there with him, but she's not understanding about him chasing around after this woman trying to, I mean, come on. If he looked at 5 other people and said, no, I still think it's Michael, maybe Brook Lynn could be like more accepting. But nobody's going to be accepting of this. You just solely focused on Michael. It seems weird, and you still, got this thing for Willow. Anyway, Ned really kind of said, listen, you need to put that to rest. Stop with chasing around after this woman and focus on my daughter. So Chase was like, no, I'm focused on my wife. I'm going to show you I'm focused on her. Brook Lynn knows it's all just about me and her, whatever. I think Chase is talking a whole bunch of talk. And I think as soon as an opportunity comes up, or as soon as Willow realizes she can start using Chase, she will. After talking with Ned, Chase just said, you know what, I want to take Brook Lynn out on a date night and to show Brook Lynn, it's just all about me and her. He's not thinking Willow is not on his mind. He gonna go out and have this wonderful date with his wife. So he took her out on date night. They out there. They found some little wine restaurant that they was walking to. And then all of a sudden you see Brook Lynn. She looks surprised, like almost like, oh my goodness, like she sees something really bad. And that's kind of how that scene ended. So I guess tomorrow we'll see what this is. After Brook Lynn and Chase left for their date, Tracy and Ned were just discussing with each other their concerns about their Brook Lynn and Chase's relationship. But they said they were going to focus on the baby. That's what Brook Lynn told them, getting this baby. And they're both hoping that this is going to mend their relationship because they both know they could see like problems ahead. Christina invited Jacinda and Michael over to Charlie's. They were shocked to see that Charlie's has been fully restored. Christina was kind of like, yeah, she's really happy about it. And she had some help. And then Sonny walked in and she was like, Sonny was a great help to her. As the conversation progressed, Michael started talking about his concerns about being brought in for this key situation. And he was just concerned about how he may still be charged with Drew's situation. So Jacinda and Michael were saying that their phones have been blowing up all day. Jacinda was like, at work, Nina's been getting 500 calls. And Michael was like, yeah, I've been getting a bunch of calls too. And Christina's kind of like, why? So they were telling her that Willow is now the new congresswoman. And she was going, no, but my mother was offered that position from Laura. So they were like, well, that's over because Willow is now the new congresswoman. Christina was really upset about this. She was like, she know her mother's going to be hurt. And then, they just kept talking about Willow. But yeah, Christina's right. We all know Alexis was really hurt that she didn't get this position. Jacinda and Michael's conversation was really interesting because Jacinda kind of summed it up just right. She said, Willow has, it seems like from what Michael told her, she's always been dependent on somebody, either Michael or Drew or somebody, right? But now she's in charge. She has the power. And Jacinda was like, when that kind of stuff happens, a lot of times you're going to see another part of this person, a different person. So I think Jacinda hit the nail right on the head when she was telling Michael, yeah, he should be concerned because Willow is probably going to turn into something he's never seen before. Christina was telling Sonny, Michael is really concerned about being brought up on these charges. So Sonny told Christina, don't worry about it. He's handling it. So what does that really mean? I mean, when he said that, I was kind of like, is he handling Justine? That's why he's trying to get with her to get her to drop these charges. I don't know. But Sonny just said, he's handling it, he's on it, and he's going to make sure Michael doesn't go down for this. When Michael was at Charlie's, he got a call from Dante. Dante asked him to come down to the precinct because he had something to discuss with him. Michael went down there, talked to Dante. Dante told him, "Listen, we dropping these charges. We're not pursuing this case any further. You're in the clear." He said though, so Michael was relieved, but he was like, you know what? As much as you're relieved, in a court of public opinion, you still are like, there's a big question mark if you did it. So his name hasn't been fully cleared, but either way, I'm sure Michael is relieved that he doesn't have to be worried about somebody running up and just arresting him out of nowhere. Sonny called Justine down to Charlie's, and Justine came, and then she told Sonny that, he has nothing to worry about. We're not going to be filing any more charges on your son. The case is closed. And he could stop pretending to like her because, the case is closed. He doesn't have to pretend to be with her. But Sonny was like, he's not pretending. He really wants to be with her. I don't know. I don't know what Justine is going to do with this. I know she wants to be with Sonny, but she got a lot to lose if she messes around with Sonny. So and then on the other hand, Sonny got a lot to lose if he messes around with Justine because he still doesn't know if Justine is playing him or not. So we'll see where this goes. To hit that bell notification so that you'll be alerted to when we upload a new video, and they'll hit that like and subscribe because it really helps the channel. And guys, thank you again for joining us at GHT time. See you next time. Bye.